Hey everybody, and welcome to a strangely first-person view of the equipment that I'm going to be using on this upcoming tour Because Awesome, that we're going out in May. This video is kind of a rig rundown, if you will, or not if you will, if that's probably copywritten. This is not a rig rundown. And so how Tour Because Awesome works is this is our third, and this time we're going to, we're going all over the US. Quite a few shows in Texas and California and a bunch of other places that I'm not going to remember off the top of my head. We're playing 16 shows in May, and there are tickets below if you want to check it out. It's going to be awesome. So how the show kind of works is I play in the headlining act, which is Hank Green and the Perfect Strangers. And it's kind of like a lot of nerd rock stuff, fronted by Hank Green of the Vlogbrothers and SciShow and VidCon and the billion other companies that he has made. And so we have that headlining act, and then right before that we have Harry and the Potters, which is more nerd rock and even more directly because all the songs are based around Harry Potter and are fronted by Harry Potter and Harry Potter. And then we also have Driftless Pony Club, which I play drums for. I fill in for drums, I'm not like the official drummer. And then before that, which applies to this video, is we have two solo sets from Andrew Huang and myself. So I play first in it, and me and Andrew, because there's so many people on the bill, we play kind of like half sets. So we have pretty short sets, and we're kind of like the appetizers to the show, I guess you'd say. He does a lot of looping stuff and crazy awesome stuff, and is just an amazing musician in general if you're not familiar with Andrew Huang. So my role for my solo set is to play these two guitars, playing my 8-string and my 6-string signatures from Shaman, and I'm doing just my solo guitar stuff. So, you know, like I play Anchor on the new signature 8-string, and then I could blab about these guitars forever, and I'm sure I will in other videos. I'll try to keep it short here to not make every single one of my videos about my signature guitars, but yeah, it's very exciting. But these are still the prototypes. These are not the production models. The production models will probably be in my hands like right when I get back from tour, and hopefully by then we'll finally have pre-orders too. So you can see like the mahogany strip here is really light, which is probably the biggest, most notable thing we're changing with the prototypes is we need to really specify the wood dye to make sure that it looks a bit more like this, but this will be a little bit darker too, and we'll have another few changes. But anyway, so there'll be pre-orders for them too by the end of May, but I could blab on about the guitars forever, so we'll save that for a billion other videos, and this is just about the rig after. So in other shows, or the last two tours, Because Awesome, for my solo set, I start with the 8-string, and then I transition to the 6, and I kind of found a way to transition less awkwardly. Because this is an open tuning, I can just strum it, leave it there on the stand, and then it rings out while I can talk to the audience and set up my other guitar. But then there was always this awkward moment, and I kind of practiced how I could make it less awkward to where I switched between the guitars. And this time I think I found a good solution. So that brings us to the next part in the chain where you can see they're both plugged in. And oh, with these cables too.
Last tour we played at the Rex, I believe, in Pittsburgh, question mark. And we went into this little music store just down the block, and they were selling their own brand of cables called Talent Boosters, and they're in these
bright colors. So
I thought that was funny. You know, on the package they say how it comes with talent. So I thought that was pretty funny, and it'd be cool to get some bright cables. So those
are the cables that I'm using, and then those go into. We'll get into this whole thing here that's also new that I'm really excited about. But then it goes into just an AB box, and these are made so, you know, you could tell from the text you're supposed to have one guitar, and then you use the AB box to switch maybe what effects you're using or what amp you're going to. But I am not using it in that way. I just put it upside down so I can have two different guitars. So during the set I play a bit with the 8-string, and then I have it ring out, sit on the stand, and I can set up my other guitar. And then it's right before I'm about to play, I can just switch over to the 6-string. And that makes it so I don't need to unplug one and plug in the other and worry about the gross sound that makes in between. So this thing is inside a new pedal board, which is super cool, that I got yesterday, which is going to be really helpful. This was made from Bob from a channel, Bob Claggett from a channel called I Like to Make Stuff. I'll put the link here, question mark? I'll put it somewhere. And he has a video already out on how he made this. And it also comes with the top and these hinges here where you can close it completely with the locks on the side and then carry it around, and that's really helpful for being on tour. Last time I had all my pedals in separate boxes and I would set them up on stage and they would fly all over the place, and now I can just close them up and put them in the box, and that stops them from getting damaged too. We're traveling to a new place every day, and we usually have to load in and load out pretty quickly, so it can be pretty easy for things, you know, to get beaten up on tour. So I can just put these in the box and not have to worry about any, you know, any little part getting damaged, where that could be pretty easy to do. So yeah, that's that. And check out the video of Bob making it. Super cool. I decided to go with the Velcro. We weren't quite sure when we made this if I was going to go with the Velcro or if I was even going to like screw them in. But I just went out and got a ton of Velcro, and it's really strong stuff, so these aren't going anywhere unless I want them to. There were some other ways to lock them down, but they were a bit more permanent or just not as practical as Velcro, so I went with Velcro. So after this one, we have a reverse button, which is not actually what it is. It's just a Korg tuner. Yeah, this is from the Backwards Enter Sandman video from last Metallica. Speaking of Metallica, that's coming up soon. And that's also why there's not really any main channel videos right now, because I'm working on all those videos because I'm going to be on tour. And then we have the reverb and delay. I play Rain on tour, so here's where I get the delay from. And to get both of these, I went into Chicago Music Exchange, and it was before the first tour, and I knew I needed some good reverb and delay, and I went in and just tried out maybe 8 pedals each for reverb and delay, and these are the ones that I ended up getting. These are the closest to what I wanted. But to be entirely honest, neither of them is exactly what I want in reverb and delay, but these were the closest I could get to what I wanted. I would also like if I could possibly have a delay where the timing isn't on one of these dials, because you just nudge this and then all of a sudden, you know, that never happened last time on tour, but say someone nudged this before my set, now all of a sudden Rain is really, really fast. So yeah, I use this for Rain, and that's it. And then the reverb is pretty much on the whole time.
Also, all these knobs are not where they should be. They're just in random spots. I haven't really dialed that in yet. So yeah, these just have to be where they last were. So, yeah.
New on tour, depending on the venue, I would change up the knobs on the reverb quite a bit, because in some of the venues there is a lot more reverb just built in to the space, so you would need to go back on this a little bit. Others were a bit more dry sounding, I guess, and then I would have to bump up the reverb in some way. But the delay is always the same. The effect level for Rain is always all the way up, or nearly all the way up. I use the analog delay on here instead of the real echo or the tape echo, and yeah, I find that one is the closest to what I want. It's not exact, neither with this, but yeah. After that, there isn't a chord here, but on tour there will be, and then it goes into this beautiful. Well, it goes first into the amp. This Panama Shaman amp, and another bonus is it looks really great. It looks really great on stage. Just a really great looking amp. There's the shovel too. Speaking of Bob, who made this, there's also the shovel that he made me that's been getting a surprising amount of use since I got it. So yeah, this is the Shaman, and the Shaman amp I'm using. You know, I'm not using any of the distortion or anything. You know, for my solo set, it's all totally clean. And this cab is made for extended range guitars. I don't know if this is on the market or if this is just an idea that they tried and gave it to me. And I don't know if it's made its way to the market yet, but we usually mic it up over here. We have 2 different types of cones. This one's a lot bassier. This one's a lot more normal. We usually mic this one. But this one does help for on-stage volume, for like the low H-string stuff. So it's kind of like a mix of a bass and guitar amp, if you will. It's pretty cool, and it looks really great and sounds really fantastic. But we have this, also these knobs aren't where they're going to be on tour, and I won't know until we get to the first venue. I found myself moving around these knobs per venue for similar reasons to the reverb. So if I had it set up, what I found with the last 2 tours is I would set it up for perfect low volume settings in my apartment, but then once you get it to a big room and it's going to be a lot louder, I would have to change the settings completely. So I won't know what these settings are until we get to our first venue, and then I'll have a better idea, and I'll be tweaking them per venue. And I think that's it. I don't use any of the distortion settings. This is later used for the Hank Green and the Perfect Stranger set for me and mostly Andrew, but he doesn't use the distortion on here, so this is just for clean and, you know, coloring up the sound a little bit. And he has his own board with a bajillion different things that he can do, and like looping stuff that he also uses. And yeah, I think that's it. Did I miss anything? Again, back to the guitars. Ooh. Yeah, it's hard for me to not talk about the guitars nonstop. So by the end of May, these should hopefully have pre-orders, I would say. They'll at least be in stores in June. And so that's crazy, crazy, crazy exciting. So yeah, if you would like to come out to the tour and come say hi, because it's like a YouTube type of thing, we also always try to do meetups and meet everybody at the end of the show. And I'll also be hanging out at the merch booth after my set, so I'm the first set, and then we have a lot more merchandise too. I actually have a new CD, kind of. This is kind of funny because we got a commemorative plaque and we're giving one to my aunt who made the artwork for. This is the Anchor EP, but it's a 10-track Anchor EP, which is not really any new tracks, but it's kind of like a best of my instrumental guitar stuff. So that'll be sold on tour, as well as some t-shirts and some pics and some other cool stuff. So, and yeah, we'll also be doing like meetups, because it is like a YouTube centric type thing. So yeah, check out the links if you're around, and maybe I'll see you there.